determination, and a no-nonsense approach can be really effective skills, but you have to know when to use them. Today I'm here with Shawn Krause from Quicken Loans, who's been very successful about knowing when to deploy those skills. Shawn, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
It is, your story and your journey is unlike any I've heard before. Can you give me a little bit of the highlights of your journey?
Sure. From a personal perspective, because I think that helped to shape a lot of my career journey, is I was raised in a home with just a dad and my two younger brothers, and my mom left when I was small, like 4 years old. And from that point on, I feel like I was a little leader around the house, and that definitely helped to shape and create and build a lot of my characteristics that I use today in business every day.
Did you always envision being a senior leader, or did it happen naturally?
It so happened naturally. I laugh when I tell people all the time, when I came into Quicken Loans, or even when I started in the mortgage business, and it's a pretty funny story how I started in the mortgage business. I was dating a guy and I went with him to his accountant, and he's like, hey, do you want a job as an assistant to a guy who owns a mortgage company? Swear to God. And well, that tells you, right, always be open to new things, because you never know what's around the corner. And so the partners split up, and his partner called me and said, hey, do you want to be a loan processor? I'm like, sure. So I went to his company, and that's how I started in the mortgage business. So
you told me earlier you did approach a job in somewhat, I'm going to call it, competitive manner, that if you were the loan processor, you wanted to be the best. So give us some insights on what drives you and your motivation behind it.
Yeah, I always had to be number one with whatever I was doing. And that's like a funny story when Dan actually called me, Dan Gilbert, to come work at Rock Financial, which was now Quicken Loans. I was literally typing on a typewriter when he called me. And I always back then you had to make the UPS to get the loan out to the underwriter, because as a small mortgage broker you didn't have the underwriter there on site. So you had to make that 3 p.m. deadline, beg the UPS driver to stay. But I always had to make sure I was doing the best job possible. And I wanted the quality of the loan, never to have what were they called back then? Well, repurchases for sure, but any defects when they went for purchase. And I wanted 0 defects. And when I sent it to an underwriter, I wanted to make sure I didn't have any underwriting conditions, only at closing conditions. I took a lot of pride in that. And if I got an underwriting condition, I'd be like, oh my God. And then I'd learn for the next time. That's one big thing, is learning, learn from your mistakes to make yourself better, right? And don't take it personally.
Did you have any idea Dan Gilbert was going to call you?
No. It's funny because my phone rang one day, and it's just calling through the switchboard or whatever. And he's like, hi, I didn't even know who he was. And he had apparently asked the mortgage insurance companies around town, hey, who are some good processors? This was back in 1991. So I've been at Quicken for almost 27 years. But he said, he called me and I said, look, dude, I'm happy where I'm at. And because 3 mortgage insurance companies had referred me and said, hey, she's a really good processor, you should try and get her. And I'll spare you the details, but it took 6 months back and forth of me starting, quitting, everything. It was pretty funny. But then I started on September 9th of 91, so I was very happy.
That's an amazing story. It goes to show you, when you drive results and you have high quality, who knows what doors will open. Mm-hmm. I have watched firsthand you being so effective at getting your voice heard, especially when you are seeing something perhaps others aren't. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about your effective strategies of driving your points and being heard?
Oh boy, I don't know if I have a strategy. It's more of it's funny because, like I said, you learn from your mistakes. And if you try and it's not working that way, you try another way, right, to get your point across. And I think I've come to the point now where, we were talking about this before, is if you're really trying to get something across and you can't get it across, let them think it's their idea. Don't be so held to it that it's your idea. You know it's the right thing to do and it's the best thing for the industry or whatever it is that you're advocating for. and let them think it's their idea as long as you get down the right path. There's a lot of psychology going on there, but I think I've learned that over many years of trying to get through. And it's a pretty male-dominated, industry over the years.
And so another path to driving results is getting there perhaps in a way that you don't have to own the idea, but if it gets you to the end result that is the result you're looking for, it's a win-win.
Right.
I'm going to ask you a very personal question. I know you have a charitable organization.
I do.
That you've started. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. I have been very blessed at Quicken Loans over the years, and I've just been so blessed with everything that I have and what I've been able to accomplish. And I think about how I felt when I was in school, in elementary school, junior high, and high school, and thought, what if, I didn't have to, a child didn't have to go to work and pay for their own yearbook? Because if I wanted my graduation cap and gown or my senior year yearbook or school clothes, I had to work and pay for that. And I know that helped to, maybe change the direction that I might have been on because I didn't go to college. And I think about that today, and the kids in Detroit, where our offices are in Detroit, and I wanted to give back. And so it's called When You Need It Most, and I want a kid or a teacher or the families of children of Detroit school kids to feel like they have some place to go if they need a water bill paid, if they want to buy the yearbook, if a great example, we did a Christmas bazaar at a school, kindergarten through 8th grade, and all the kids that were performing exceptionally well at the school got to come. There were 100 kids, and they got to pick out 4 presents for their family. And so, so they took home 4 wrapped gifts for some kids more because they're so cute. But they said, "Can I have more?" I'm like, "Sure, of course," giving them everything. But they took home gifts to give their parents for Christmas. Just that little bit of feeling good about yourself, because when you grow up in not so good circumstances and you're not surrounded by the encouragement, the tools, environment, a good environment, it can be a little challenging. So the things we try to do to help just take that little edge off of feeling, not so good about going to school, right? Because even with clothes, some kids, they come in and they don't have clean clothes. So we provide washer and dryer. We just provided one to a school so that the teachers can wash their clothes. We have a website that the teachers can go to and buy clothes for the kids if they need them in their classroom. And who knows better if someone's having a challenging, if they have a challenging life or challenging day, whatever it is a teacher. They see the kids probably more than parents do.
Such great advice. So be authentic, work really hard, drive results, make sure you do your projects with quality, I heard, and also, if you are blessed, give back to your community. Those are some great lessons. Thank you for being here, Shawn.
Thank you so much, Marcia.